So clearly these are very difficult times for marketers and for marketing. As I talk to chief marketing officers across a range of industries, budgets are being slashed and resources are constrained. So what advice would I have for marketing and marketers in a downturn? The first thing I'd say is that a hatchet is a lousy tool to use for cutting. A scalpel is a better tool. So what you want to do is to cut selectively and not across the board. Think of the marketing activities that are consuming more resources and are less productive, and do a systematic assessment of where your money is going and where are the most productive uses of it, rather than having across the board cuts. So you might find, for instance, that the broad reach media spending that you're doing, which may be consuming a lot of resources, may not be as effective as the more targeted things that you can do using the internet or direct mail and so on. So what you want to do is to look at program by program, channel by channel, project by project, campaign by campaign, and not do an across the board cut. The second piece of advice that I might have for marketers is that this is a good time to actually mine rather than hunt, which means that you need to get more business from the customers that you already serve rather than trying to acquire new customers, which is often a more expensive and a more unreliable process. So what you want to do is to go reach out to your customers and ask yourself, what more can we do for them? What are the opportunities that we have to serve them in new ways, and really increase the share of wallet and the depth of your relationship with your existing customers. The third thing that you want to do really is to adapt your value propositions to the realities of the marketplace. If you think about business to business companies, say you're Microsoft, for instance, and what you need to ask yourself now is, how can I convince my customers that my technology can make them deal better with their business challenges? And that's what Microsoft is starting to do. In fact, they're talking about how investments that they can make in information technology can actually help them make their business processes more effective, reduce the inventory in their supply chain, and have other benefits to them around cost cutting. So this might actually be a time, even if you're an apparel retailer or if you're a fashion marketer, to talk more about things that are pragmatic, things that respond to the realities of the customers' own lives and their businesses, rather than pitches and products and messages that might have been more relevant for the go-go times that we had a few years ago. So adapt your value propositions, understand the customer's realities, and make sure that both your offerings and your messages are adapted to that. And I think that the final thing that you want to think about in marketing in a downturn is that when you're cutting and when you're cutting back, don't lose the muscle, because this too shall pass. And what you need to make sure is that you're still innovating and you're still investing for when the tide turns. Because one of the problems I saw after the 2001 recession was that companies were ill prepared for the uptick when it did happen. So while we are right now in cutting mode and downsizing mode and restructuring mode, we also need to be in investment mode so that we don't miss the next wave if and when it does happen. So I'd say don't panic, stay the course, stick to the knitting, mine your existing customers, but adapt to the new realities in the marketplace, and hopefully we all will see better days.